Okay, so starting my 7 deadly sins video, I'll be starting with the worst of all the deadly sins, probably envy. And for envy, I've picked Office for Men from the wonderful Jeremy Fragrance. Who would not be envious of Jeremy Fragrance? The lifestyle, the Ferraris, the suits, the massive fragrance collection. But anyway, yes, Office for Men. A lovely, bright, sparkling bergamot. Ambroxan, absolute bomb. It does last for hours. It does do exactly what it set out to do. I think this is a fairly good fragrance. Obviously it has its downfalls, the price is absolutely ridiculous. But all in all, do you know what? It's a really good, solid, likeable, great fragrance for the office, although it might be a bit strong. Some say it might smell a bit like Aventus and Sauvage or shook up into one fragrance. Maybe, maybe not, but is that a bad thing? Two of the most popular fragrances of the decade together. It's bright, it dries down quite, I get quite a bit of patchouli along with the ambroxan, a bit of woods. It's pleasant, it's lovable, it's easy, so yeah, that's envy, because of course, who doesn't envy Jeremy Fragrance and the fantastic Office for Men fragrance. Well, next up folks, we have Sloth, which obviously is probably the greatest of all sins, and probably what we're all quite guilty for, I suppose. And for that I have Zara's Rich, Warm and Addictive. This is a beautiful gourmand. That lovely coconutty, sandalwoody, slightly boozy, very sweet, cosy, luxurious smelling fragrance. It's just the kind of fragrance you want to spray on. Just chill and lie down and do nothing for the rest of the day. Basically, as well, with it smelling quite like food, it just makes you feel like you're full and you want to stuff loads of chocolate in your mouth and just basically do nothing all day. So folks, that's Zara's Rich, Warm and Addictive, and that was for Sloth. Now next on the list is greed, which is something I don't really understand. How are us fragrance people greedy? Makes no sense to me. I'm quite happy with my David Beckham Intimately. Look at that, just wonderful. Best fragrance ever. I only really need one in my collection, don't I? Oh, smell that. Oh, it's gone, I can't smell it anymore. Well yes, us fragrance people aren't greedy, are we? I mean, I don't get where it comes from. I only wanted 2 fragrances. I mean, who doesn't love Dior Homme? I'm definitely happy now. My collection is totally complete. Yeah, it's totally complete. I mean, if you've got Dior Homme, you've got to get Dior Homme Parfum. It's not greed, we just need it, don't we? What's going on? And I suppose it would be rude not to get the greatest niche fragrance ever, wouldn't it? Look at that, back to black from Killian. It's just too wonderful. Okay then, well maybe if I get the greatest niche one, I'd need one for summer, wouldn't I? I mean, that's not greed at all. Okay, and it's just best practice to get a backup bottle, isn't it? I mean, you know, if it's the greatest summer fragrance ever, I need 2, don't I? So again, I don't think I've been particularly... And obviously you need a fragrance for sort of different occasions, don't you? I mean, who would want a beautiful fragrance like this? I don't think it's greed. So yes, I refuse to put greed in this list of sins, because I don't think any of us fragrance people are greedy at all. Okay, so next. Now next on the list is we have lust is the next deadly sin. Oh hello darling. Fancy seeing you in my bed. What was that? What? Really? Oh, ménage à trois. Twins, eh? So, representing lust, we have not just one dew pomme, but 2 dew pommes. This is a beautifully sweet and beautiful fragrance. It's very loud, it's got loads of cherry, loads of vanilla, orange blossom, all the sorts of fragrances that would make you very lustful for anyone. One whiff of this and you'll be weak at the knees. Have you ever seen two more beautiful fragrances? So representing lust is Dew Bomb. Now then, next up on the list we have Gluttony. So what have I picked for Gluttony? Louis Cardin Sacred. This is a very sweet, very caramelly gourmand fragrance. It's made up of lots of warm, rich spices, just cooking spices. Spices you'd find in lovely cakes, lovely warm chocolate biscuits. It's one of them fragrances that you're best off not putting on if you're feeling a bit peckish. It just has that certain element of sweetness, that certain dessert like, you know, when you have one more-ish piece of dessert, you just want more and more and more. Well, this very much has that effect. And what can you say, really? Gluttony is probably the most kind of human of things. When we find something nice, all we want to do is just eat more and more and more, and just keep eating till our stomachs want to burst. And obviously you can see the cat feels the same way. She wants some of this beautiful goodness. But we can't help it, can we? And it's the same with this fragrance. Once you sniff it on you, you just want to keep on sniffing and sniffing. Sticking your arm in more and more. Wanting to just envelop yourself in this beautiful sweetness. But come on folks, we're all human. Which of us isn't a little on the gluttonous side? More cake, more wine. Who can say no to a sweet treat? Anyway, that is Gluttony, folks, and that is Sacred from Louis Cardin. Okay, so next on the list will be Next on the list, as you can probably guess, will be wrath or vengeance or anger. And for that we have Chanel Allure On, which for some strange reason Allure Chanel decided to totally reformulate, so this smells absolutely nothing like what it used to do. So what I'm going to do with that is, stupid thing, makes me so angry. That beautiful, warm, vanilla, woods, sweet peaches is all gone now. And what we're left with is a little bit of a shit. So yes, this deadly sin will be wrath and anger. And look what it made me do. So what fragrances make you angry? Any been reformulated to death? Or am I the only one who gets quite so wrathful and vengeful? Okay, next. A little disclaimer, my bottle is quite fine, and it is still a beautiful fragrance, so don't come after me, Chanel. It is quite nice, but it's just a shell of what it used to be, and it makes me so angry, so vengeful. Okay. And finally, the last of the deadly sins is of course pride. And what I have to represent pride is of course my full Killian. Now Back to Black is possibly my favourite, and Love and Tears is definitely up there with it as a summer one. But this one is just the most beautiful, seductive one. And I have such an element of pride with this. Why is pride a deadly sin? F you, I've got my favourite fragrance. F you all. Yes, yes, I am very happy with this. What's wrong with being proud anyway? And that's all, folks. Okay folks, and just to end the video quickly is all the people who will be doing this video at the same time. And we have Barry, who's centralised on YouTube, and for me I'm very envious of Barry and his wonderful collection. Then we have Tony, who's predicted over on YouTube. All the links should be here because I'm going to put them in like a good boy. But Tony represents Gluttony and his love of the old cake. Linda, who's the frag hag on YouTube, and she represents envy again. I love Linda's style. If I was, I'll spit it out. I was going to say if I was a man, I'd love to be a male version with that lovely vintage style, but I am a man and I'd like to be the male version. Next up we've got Hillary, who's the Nerdy Fragrance Reviews. The Bureau of Nerdy Fragrance Reviews. Anyway, I'll link it on YouTube, and obviously I'm envious because Hillary's got practically every fragrance ever made. Then we have Scott, who's the Centurion, and I'm envious of his very fine style and his good way of speaking. Then there's Claire, who of course I'm very envious of because she is of course the Queen Bean. And no, Claire has fantastic YouTube, and Claire is Smurfy girly. Then we have Kev, who's Mersey Sense, and who wouldn't want to be Kev with his fine Scouse style, not a shell suit in sight, and he has a wonderful collection as well. And finally we have Lizzie at Rose and Jones on YouTube, and of course I'm very envious of Lizzie and her wonderful reviewing skills and storytelling, and of course she gets to work with the best reviewer ever. I'm only kidding. In fact, I feel quite sorry for having to do reviews with me. But that's Lizzie, Rose and Jones. They're all the people who will be dropping the video at the same time as me. So if you get time folks, go check them out. They'll all be linked somehow, hopefully. Alright, thanks folks. Bye bye.